Everyone in town knew about the Blackwood Mountain behind Tim's house. The elders whispered that the mountain was alive, and those who wandered too deep into its dense jungle never returned. But Tim, who was 12, and his best friend Harry, 11, didn't believe in fairy tales. They only believed in adventure. One cloudy Sunday, the two boys grabbed their bicycles and decided to conquer the mountain path. "Are you sure about this, Tim?" Harry asked, pedaling hard. "I'm excited, but this place feels weird." Tim laughed, standing on his pedals. "Don't tell me you're scared, Harry. My mom used to tell me stories about this place. She said there's a rare, glowing white flower hidden at the very top. It's supposed to be the most beautiful thing in the world, but it holds an ancient, evil power. It controls anyone who smells it." "That's just a story to keep kids away," Harry replied, brushing it off. But as they pushed their bikes closer to the summit, the atmosphere shifted. The temperature dropped. Thick, unnatural gray clouds rolled in, blocking the sun entirely. The forest fell dead silent, no birds, no crickets. Just the sound of their heavy breathing. When they finally reached the peak, the fog was thick. That's when Harry saw it. Tucked away in the shadows of a massive oak tree was a single, pure white flower. It wasn't just white, it seemed to glow in the darkness. Harry felt a strange, magnetic pull. A voice in his head told him to touch it. Without telling Tim, Harry quietly slipped his hand into the bushes, plucked the flower by its root, and hid it in his bag. A few days later, it was Tim's birthday. As a surprise, Harry planted the white flower in a beautiful clay pot and gave it to his best friend. Tim loved it, placing it right on the desk next to his bed. The next morning, Tim woke up and rubbed his eyes. He looked at the pot. He blinked. Where there had been one flower, there were now two. The stem had split perfectly down the middle in the night. Tim thought it was strange, but he ignored it and went to school. When he returned that afternoon, he froze in his doorway. There were now 4 white flowers blooming in the pot. That night, a sickly sweet scent filled Tim's bedroom. It smelled like honey and old perfume. Tim felt himself walking toward the desk against his own will. He leaned in and took a deep breath. From that moment, Tim changed. He refused to come down for dinner. He sat in his dark room, staring blankly at the wall. His mother, worried, tried to get him to eat, but he just growled at her to leave him alone. At 2 a.m., Tim's mother woke up to get a glass of water. As she walked past Tim's room, she heard a sound that froze her blood. It was a low, raspy whisper. Tim was talking to someone. She crept to his door and slowly pushed it open. She gasped, covering her mouth to stop from screaming. Tim was not in his bed. He was suspended 3 feet in the air, floating effortlessly in the center of the room. His head was tilted back, and he was whispering in a strange, ancient language directly to the 4 white flowers, which were now pulsing with a pale, ghostly light. His mother slammed her hand against the wooden door. Instantly, Tim dropped to the floor, coughing and confused, rubbing his head as if waking from a nightmare. The next morning, his terrified mother called Harry. Harry, crying, confessed everything about the mountain and the glowing flower. Realizing the horrible truth of the old legends, Tim's mother didn't wait. She ran to the local church and pleaded with the town's oldest father. The father listened with wide eyes. He handed her a small glass vial. "Holy water," he instructed. "Do not touch the plant. Pour this into the soil while the boy is asleep." That night, while Tim slept exhausted in his bed, his mother crept into the room. The sweet smell was almost overpowering. The flowers seemed to turn towards her, as if watching. With shaking hands, she uncorked the vial and poured the holy water directly onto the roots. The reaction was violent. The flower didn't just wither, it burst into black, foul-smelling flames. It thrashed and twisted like a dying animal, letting out a screeching sound until nothing was left but a pile of black, smoking ash on the desk. Tim woke up the next morning feeling perfectly fine, the heavy fog lifted from his mind. The mountain had tried to claim him, but they had won. At least, for now.